dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Hello! It's kind of dark over here. Got shadows and everything. I suppose it doesn't really need to be this dark in here. You know what? I'm going to turn the lights on. Screw it. It's going to look like a ballpark here in a second, but there we go. Scared the cockroaches away. So, working on some Aeronautica this week. I picked up the Skies of Fire box set. What the hell is that? Oh. And I've gotten the Imperial side of things. Mostly getting there done. I do want to get these painted up and get them ready for some gameplay. So we're gonna have some fun that way. So this week I've already got like a squadron of lightnings. I'm gonna work on some of these guys here because I already have this one pretty much already done, and patrons can already have access to this video, and also patrons also have access to this video, how I painted this guy. And today I'm pretty much gonna probably pretty much show you guys how I went about painting this one, if we get around to it today. I did them both as one as a Valkyrie, one as a Vendetta. So this one here is the Vendetta. You can see the little lassie guns all over the place, and this one's got the little rocket pods and the little doohickeys. So I did them both as two different. I had no idea which one's better, which one's worse, so I did them the same. And same with the lightnings. I did them pretty much same configuration, multi-lasers and missiles, just because, you know, reasons. And yeah, so we're gonna get to those today. Go Starman Deluxe. Ooh, metal birdies. Yeah, metal birdies. That's what we're working on. So yeah, just gonna try and get these guys done, because then I can start working on the Tau, and patrons most likely will get access to those in the near future. Let me switch cameras here so we can get to the painting. Let's see here. Can I put on chat? I can, but we'll leave it off. Just because. Alright, so first things first is I am going to basically what I did was in the Patreon video I painted up this guy. I did this guy entirely by hand, so you know, I thought that was kind of fun. And then I quickly did these guys by airbrush, and basically all I did was they were primed white and sprayed with administratum gray, and then I used some masking tape, taped off just big, you know, areas, creating these kind of, you know, chevrons all over the place, you know, for the camouflage look, and then sprayed mechanicum gray, thinned out quite a bit, basilicum gray contrast, and applied that, and it gets all into the panel lines and everything. And I'm much happier with that overall look, as opposed to, and then of course gave it a dry brush of, what did I give it? Longbeard, Citadel dry Longbeard, and I gave it that, you know, that look, and that is pretty much it. And it was really, really fast. And then the yellow I picked out in Averland Sunset, and now this is the painted guy. I was like, hey, this already looks done. That's the painted one. I mean, this is the one. So I picked these out in Averland Sunset, and then now I'm going to shade wash them, and then we'll do a dry brush, and then if need be, I don't know, something else. So get started. We'll use some Ayenden yellow. Is that what I used? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I used Ayenden yellow. Oh, go Starman Deluxe. Won't be painting myself for a little while. Gotta book a takeaway. Gotta book a takeaway first. What's a takeaway? Like a getaway? Are you going on vacation? Is that what's going on? I don't know what that means. What does it mean? I don't know. I'm trying not to apply this too heavily onto the model. I think the way I did it initially was I laid a little bit onto the palette and then you know, wipe the excess away. Don't know if I really need my wet palette today. Pretty much can work straight out of the bottle, just except for this phase and possibly if we shade wash. Yeah, so we probably will have to use where's my other trusty rusty palette? Here it is. Oof. I need to clean this palette. It's dirty. Anyway, this is trusty rusty little palette. Just use this little sucker. All right, let's get to work. Go Starving Deluxe. Don't you have takeaways in Canada where you order food at a restaurant and take it home with you? Oh, takeout. We just call it takeout. Yeah, takeaway? No, because takeaway is kind of like we have a meeting, we're talking about something, and then, you know, we have a takeaway from the session, right? It's kind of we took something away from it, right? What did we take away? Whereas, yeah, when we order out, it's takeout. And of course we have skip the dishes and what's the other one? There's a couple services now. A couple services delivering. All right, let's grab. Let's use yeah, this one here. Let's grab some of this. Yeah, I'm just gonna thin this out with just a bit of water, just like so. And let's apply. Yeah, that's plenty. Oops. Hit an area I didn't really want to hit. It's okay though. I'm not overly concerned with, you know, the overall precision, just because of the scale, and I'm looking to only do these things up just tabletop. So I'm not being terribly precious about my painting as far as, you know, trying to do like a display standard type of paint job or anything like that, you know. I am just getting them done. And that's what this show's all about, right? It's just getting them done. Get her done. Can anybody tell me, if anybody knows, what this color scheme is inspired by? I'm sure it's pretty easy for any of you aficionados out there. I'm just using a shade brush to apply this, trying to stay within the bounds. I think that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. It's a little heavy, but it's because I use Everland Sunset. In the video that I show the tutorial on this, I use a different color, but that's okay. That's all right. This is going to give us a deeper yellow. Is all. But that's it. That's all we're doing today. And then next week, hopefully, we can get to the Tau. I will be working on these things off camera because, like I said, I want to get them done so that I can film a couple games. I actually got my son really pumped up to play this, so he has been studying and reading, and hopefully he's ready to go. And I don't know if I've ever really had my son on camera before, but he's a really good dude, and he's always good for a laugh. course, it will be the battle report probably will end up with some bleeped curse words possibly if I edit them out. He's definitely got his father's way with words. That's a polite way of saying he swears a lot. All right, we're gonna let those dry. Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll probably go 1 or 2 steps on those. So this guy's pretty much done, so I don't have to worry about him. This guy's pretty much, I think, done. Oh, you know what? No, I forgot. Spoiler alert, in the tutorial for this Vendetta, I didn't paint the little sensor in the front. So, oh, you may notice too that there's tape on the stem. That's because when I was priming it and everything like that, I actually ended up hitting the base too while I was priming it. It's no biggie though. I don't care. I'm not worried about it. But you know what? Real quick, let's do that. And I think for that, I think I'm just going to simply hit it with some Blood Angels Red. Just a nice bright red. Just something to kind of really bring that out. Something fun. Have some fun. Just make sure it's shook really well. Speaking of shaking paint, I was in Discord. I was talking about in the last, it was the last day or so, I think, and I was talking about looking for a paint shaker. Well, I did settle on one, and it should be showing up at any moment, so it might even show up during this stream. And yeah, but I did find one, and we'll see. It's actually a higher RPM one than the fairly common one that a lot of people are using. So we'll see. We will see. And let's grab this brush. Now, I'm quickly using just some Blood Angels Red, but I'm going to treat it just a bit like a gemstone. Now, it's not a bright, it's not white there. It's actually just the base color. So it's going to be fairly dark, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and put more of the darker red at the top, kind of simulating a bit like a gemstone. That's not bad. Actually, it could be a little bit heavier. If I really wanted to finesse it, I mean, like I could. Not too worried about it. Yeah, just a bit darker. I don't know if you guys can see that well. But just a nice big doohickey on the front. I don't know what the hell that is, but whatever. I don't know. It's Imperial mumbo jumbo. It's for all those Imperial players out there. I'm sure a bunch of you Imperial Guard players are all like, Crash, that's the damn doohickey that, you know, does this, and it makes sure that the plane can stay in the air. Well, I'm sure. Ghost Starman Deluxe, he was in the video you filmed at the old army base, right? Yeah. Yeah. He's a bit older now, but yeah. So yeah, we're gonna film a game of this. Who's gonna play who? I have no idea. We might even do it where, you know, he plays one side, I'll play the other, and then we'll switch it up. And if we really enjoy it, I might pick up, because I only picked up the core box set, and if we really enjoy it, then I'll pick up probably the cards, and I'll probably pick up the expansion and the campaign for it, and maybe we'll play the entire campaign. Maybe. We'll find out. We'll figure it out. Alright, so we got that covered. Let's, you know what, let's do the other Valkyrie right now. And for that, yeah. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Ah, yes, the paint shaking sleeve. That definitely wasn't for shaking yourself. Yeah, what was that? Jabba's left nut posted the thing? Yeah. Yeah. Starman. Imperial propaganda. They just want you to think their tech is the best. Yeah, exactly. It's all propaganda, man. It's all propaganda. It's all kept to keep the man down, man. Let's keep the Xenos down. Oh, the times we live in right now, where that kind of joke can be taken the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like, it just, man, it's crazy days we live in. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. I mean, I've, not to take a dour note here, but I've experienced a lot of racism in my day. Yes, even here in sweet old Canada. All right, I'm grabbing some Argyros Dune. Yes, I'm just leaving it right on my palette or my table. I could use this handy dandy Citadel holder. You know what? Screw it. Let's use it. Watch me spill it just because I'm using it. And then I'm going to use a nice big fat shade brush. These are both Citadel. Yeah. Gotta get the hairs moving here. Hairs dried a little stiff. Oh, I think it's from the brush soap. Jeez. There we go. Good God. Might have to give this another wash with the soap. I didn't think this was that stiff. There we go. Actually, you know what? Let's close this up, and I am going to give it a wash. I was recently redecorating my room and everything like that, and getting all sorts of stuff together, just reorganizing. And here's another project that I've got to finish up. This is my Eldrad. He's painted in a red, white, black kind of color scheme for my Samhan force. So he fits with my my army, But anyway, yeah, I got to get him done. I got all sorts of stuff. I'm looking at right now on my desk. I'm looking at my Deepkin, my Blood Bowl team. I got more Eldar, and then of course the project we were working on for the patron paint-along. My desk has got all sorts of crap all over the place. I need a file cabinet. Right now, all I'm doing is I'm just running my brush through the soap just to clear off anything. I had it with soap, but for whatever reason, it dried. Like, yeah, I can see there's. I guess I didn't clean it off good enough, or maybe I didn't clean it. Maybe that's what Chris didn't do. Did I not take care of my brush? And look at my brush is not taking care of me. It's being a pain. Here's some ASMR for y'all. Paper towel. Just wipe my hand off. It's got soap scum. Yeah, I guess I didn't clean my brush off. Damn. Bad Chris. Bad form. Bad form. Go start my look. So basically we live in a society. Yeah, we live in a society. There's a lot of injustices. There's a lot of things that, we got to get fixed, corrected. But we'll get there, hopefully. Hopefully it won't be too painful. But hopefully we get there. Sounds dodgy. the ASMR, yeah, it sounds dodgy. You didn't like that sound? I watch, there's a streamer on Twitch who streams Bob Ross marathons every weekend. I tune in every once in a while throughout the weekend. And yeah, the sound of his brush on the canvas, even just the sound of brush on canvas, yeah, that's I think that's some ASMR for me. All right, let's grab a little helping of Argyros Dune. I'm just taking a little bit out of the brush. I'm using a nice big fat shade brush, and let's just start working this in. Now I work this in pretty haphazardly, just because I'm not concerned with it drying with a uniformity, because if I kind of just use a stippling motion to get the paint everywhere, it also leaves highs and lows all over the surface. I don't know if you guys can see that really well, but that's kind of what I'm after. I want it to go into the recesses, but I also want it to, you know, provide a bit of the camo look on the model. So that's what I do. That's how a Chris do. Yeah, you see, you just build it up, build it up. And contrast is really fun in this way of just, you know, quickly getting painting projects done and just, you know, getting a bit of color on a surface, but also, you know, giving you a fast, effective job. Oop, brush is moving. I'm stippling too hard, using too much muscles. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And anywhere I see kind of it's pooling up, I just quickly come in and just dab the excess off, because I want it just to provide a bit of tinting to the surface. I'm not looking for it to be too heavy, because there will be another layer applied. So like I said, like I'm just being very fast, kind of ham-fisted on this thing. I'm not too concerned. I'm just trying not to bend any details. I'm trying to stabilize the plane in my hands. Because this brush has got nice long bristles and gets into all these little nooks and crannies on the thing. Let's see if there's just too much there. I just quickly daub the excess off. The beauty of stippling. The beauty of stippling. Stipple your world. No. There's enough there? Yeah, there's enough there. Trying to find a spot where I can move this, because I gotta get in under that wing there. It was too much. It's too much. Too much. It's okay. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. Of course, you can just come back over if you want to build the color up a little bit more. Pretty much do whatever you want. Again, your model, right? The foot. Another idea I had for this particular craft was painting it like a Hind, the Soviet helicopter plane from the Cold War era. Yeah, that was another idea I had for painting this. All right, I think that's enough. It's plenty good. It's covered. Yeah, we'll let that dry. There we go. Now make sure my brush is thoroughly washed this time. Apparently, I didn't wash my brush very well last time. And you know what? Let's give it a... So I don't think we need this brush again for a bit. So we will use soap and clean it. Just to make sure that there's no residual contrast in it. Yeah, see, as soon as I run it through the soap, you can see it immediately changes. Even after rinsing the brush off quite a bit, right? That's why it's always important, you know, to use your soap and wash. Oh, here. Let's go with the ASMR again. Probably hear the sound of my fan running too, but yeah, and you can see the suds here kind of has that yellowy brown tint to it. Yeah. Very, very important. Especially even when you're dry brushing. I think I mentioned that one a few times. But between dry brushings, I often will wash my brush with brush soap just to pull the excess color out, just so that I don't get any color transference. All right. There. Pretty as a picture again. Okay. What's next? Let's go back to the lightnings. Guess we don't need this guy in here anymore. Right, we were gonna go with the yellow. Now I don't think, I try not to think, because see, I want it to be fairly close to that yellow, and you can see how this yellow is quite a bit darker, and that's because this one here was based in Uriel yellow, whereas this was Averland Sunset. So I might do a dry brushing of Averland's or Uriel yellow, and then what did I use? Praxetti Sun, I think. Is that what it is? Hexose. What is it? Hexose Pale Sun. Geez, that's a mouthful. So that will be the final dry brush on the yellow areas. But I need my Uriel yellow. Uriel yellow. Ghost Star Mendelux, they should just make all vehicles out of glass. Nobody would be able to see them. Okay. Not sure where we're going with that. See, this is why I need my paint shaker. Where's my paint shaker? I need that thing already. Come on. I don't have to sit here and shake my paint all day. Just get my little paint shaker. Anyway. I was going to go somewhere with that, but I decided against it. Alright. Let's slap a little bit onto the palette. And let's begin. This is a dry brush. So all I'm going to do is do a fair amount of dry brushing. I could do an overbrushing, but I don't want to lay that much down. Although, screw it. I'm going to use a medium dry brush. I got some Uriel yellow on my palette. Grab just a little bit here. Don't really need that much on the bristles. Wipe it off. Make sure the good majority of it's pulled. And let's dry brush. Let's go this way. Try not to hit too much of the gray areas because I don't really feel like going back and picking those out again. Concentrating more the color towards the nose. Like that. Yeah, it's a little closer. Maybe we'll come right across here. Actually, need a little more paint. Yeah, that's not bad. Come across this way and catch this edge. Yeah, that's good enough. That's closer to what I'm looking for. In fact, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. I usually don't like handling models too much when painting, just because, you know, you can end up getting your fingers all over paint areas and stuff like that, and just all around just becomes a pain. Okay. And the back end of the tail, I just get just a little bit of that, the back side of the fin here. Yeah. See, I'm getting too much yellow on the back fins here. That's okay. Definitely looks a lot better though. And that's the important part, is making it look pretty. Shoot, some of the gray. Poop. Poop. Need a little bit more yellow. Yellow. Switch to a smaller dry brush. Yeah, so even though I rinsed the brush out, you can see all the dry brushing I did, how much yellow is in there. So, always, 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 washez-vous your brush in soap. Lather going on. You can see how really yellow the suds are. This is just so that if I was to go dry brush, say something with a bit of blue in it, and this yellow, it would make green, and then you're like, oh, what the hell, you know? That's why. That's why I always recommend, especially when you're dry brushing, because dry brushing will really beat the pigment into the bristles. It just beats it in there. Yeah. Let's give that a quick rinse. There we go. Just wiping my hand off. Getting all these little soap suds. Looks like mustard. Looks like I got mustard all over myself. Alright. So, I was going to grab the smallish dry brush. And you finish off this yearly yellow. I'm just going to catch these tail fins here. Just like so. I found that the bigger brush hit too much of the tail fins, and so I wasn't too happy with that. Hence the switch over. Hence. There. All right. It's good enough for those. Now this one here, I'm not too concerned with about switching out the color. Although, let me see here. Yeah, I better wash this. Because I'm going to switch to the Hexose Pale Sun next. So I'm just going to give this a quick rinse and wash. Just to pull some of the color out. Ghost Starman Deluxe. I'm guessing the color scheme is based on a World War II Messerschmitt. Yes, that's the inspiration for that. That is the inspiration. I wasn't following it too closely, but yeah. All right. So next is Hexose Pale Sun, because it's pale. It's a sun. Pale sun. It's pale sun. I'm going to use the smaller dry brush. This dry brush is getting close to retirement too. It doesn't have quite as much I don't want to say control, but but yeah. Typically when working with dries, I just dunk right into the paint, wipe it off on my rag, and then begin. Gonna concentrate more towards the nose and also the upper portion, I suppose. Now the hard part of this is that when you're dry brushing a whole bunch of layers, start to look a little chalky. I'm not a huge fan of that, but there we go. So our earlier version and our later version, you can see a slight difference, but they're pretty close. The one on my right is completely hand painted, whereas the one on my left is a lot of airbrushing, and yeah. I also dialed in my shade wash. I used Administratum Gray. Thinned it out a lot more. This one was more like 1 to 2 almost. It was more medium than it was contrast, whereas this one was probably closer to a 1 to 1 or less than a 1 to 1 for this one. And it, you know, you can see it in the Administratum Gray, the really light gray color. And you can see it there how on the right hand side it tinted it a lot more than on the left hand side. And this is what I initially was looking or thinking of, was just a slight tinting on its surface. I wasn't looking for a huge amount. All right, so that's, oh, I gotta do the tail. Oops. Let's grab a little more color, wipe it off, and let's just quickly catch the tails. Just right, I'm gonna try to aim just for the higher portion of the fin. Just like that. You can see I hit just a little bit of the gray areas, but it's so minuscule that I'm not really that concerned with it. Again, because these are being done for mostly tabletop, so yeah, I'm not that concerned about it. Oop. Feel like coming off the base. Oh, screw it. That's it. That's all I'm looking for that part. Grab a little more. We'll do the nose and the wings, and I think we'll move on from there. Time went. Holy, come on, 40 minutes already. And then I just do the forward edge of the wingtip just to bring a bit more brighter color there so that we have some color variance going on. Oftentimes when I see people dry brushing, they often you know, end up hitting the entirety of the model again, and that's kind of defeats the purpose of, you know, creating those highlights and such. Anyway, I am mostly okay with that. It's a slight variance, but big whoop. You're always going to have slight variances in your paint jobs, just, you know, from the nature of what you do. As your mastery over color improves, you know. Yeah. And if it's for a tabletop, I mean, it's not a huge issue. Alright, so that dry brush is done. Now, can we come back to the Valkyrie? I think the Valkyrie is mostly dry. Looks pretty darn dry to me. Wee wee. Wee wee. Alright, let's go to the next phase for the Valkyrie then. That involves a sponge. Yes, you guessed it. Chris's favorite implement for painting minis is a sponge. Let's fold over this way. It is happy sponge time. If I could do the SpongeBob laugh, I would. I'm gonna use some. What did I use? I think it was. Pretty sure it was Creed camo I used. Pretty sure. I mean, I could go back to the video and look at it, but I'm not. Again, because I'm not too concerned with, you know, the color matching. Because I mean, a Vendetta might have different colorings as opposed to, you know, the Valkyrie, right? Or the regular Valkyrie, I should say. Regular Valkyrie? Is there a regular Valkyrie? We'll say it's a regular Valkyrie. Yeah, so with this, I'm going to use some Contrast Creed Cramo, and I'm going to use a little sponge to apply. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to create like just blobbies on the surface, but the edges will have that nice spongy stippling going on, so it kind of looks like a camouflage pattern. That's what I'm going for. Believe it or not, that's what I'm going for. Alright, slap a little bit of contrast on the palette. We'll go with this spot here. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Grabez-vous our sponge and just dunk it right in. Get it in there. Yep, there we go. Yeah, let's start on the. Where did I do on the other one? Okay, yeah, let's start over here. Mind view? Yeah. Just like that. You can lay it on pretty heavy, you can lay it on pretty light. It's up to you. You can even go even heavier, you know, just like that. That's fun. You know what? We'll stick with that. We'll stick pretty dark, because I think that's what I did on the other one. Yeah, let's go over here. Just like so. This is also a fun way of applying contrast as well. It gives you a lot of randomness and freedom, really, to do whatever you want. You know, just apply the color. Let's go here. And I'm just picking points at random. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just go wherever. Do I look like a guy with a plan? Need some more contrast. Starman, Mr. Krabs voice. Arg, gag, 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 gag. Always thin your paints. SpongeBob, my boy. I actually didn't really watch a lot of SpongeBob. I mean, I used to watch a lot of kids shows with my kids, obviously, but I don't recall anybody really watching a lot of SpongeBob. My son was into a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh, and my daughter, she really didn't actually watch all that much TV. I'm trying to think of what the heck she was watching. Oh, it was a lot of Dora the Explorer, stuff like that. Yeah, that's fun. Let's go on this side here. It's come real close to the engine. Actually, it's coming really close to the laser gun. Let's get a little bit on that. Yeah, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. And yeah, we'll just do a big one right across the wing here. Just a big band. Color. Yeah. Something like that. And you can see as it already dries, you can see it gives you that little hint of like a camouflage pattern. And that's the goal. That is the goal. Yeah, screw it. Let's do a little bit right here on the leading edge as well. Why not? And why not right here too? A little bit more on this wing tip here. And that's it. I only do the top. I don't bother doing the bottom. Again, with these craft, I kind of wanted to do them like Russian Hinds, and I was thinking of spraying a light kind of robin egg blue on the underside to give them that hind look, which I thought would be kind of fun. But anywho, that's it for the Valkyrie, or for laying that color down. We'll carry on with that in a moment. Yeah, I like it. I like it. The two together, well, once it dries, it'll be different, but yeah. Anyway, what's next? Black Templar. We'll start working on the black areas of the fighter planes. Damn, I think I might get these done by the end of the show. We might get these done. It will truly be getting projects done, because this Imperial fleet will pretty much be ready for the tabletop. I plan on doing more videos with these models. Obviously, doing the transfers, weathering, painting the windshields, or canopies, as you will, whichever you prefer. But yeah. So let me know down below if you're watching this live, or if you're watching this after the fact. You're watching this on YouTube. Let me know down below, because I doubt I will be at that point by the time this goes to YouTube. So yeah. Anywho, let's grab some Black Templar. You know what? We'll use our handy dandy little holder here. I hardly ever use it, but it would be embarrassing if I knocked over my paint on the stream. So yeah. Yeah, let's use our more precise brush, because we're trying to be more precise. start off with the canopies. Actually, I'm going to move this palette. I don't need a palette right now. I think that's the right brush. You can tell this brush gets a lot of use. Look at the handle. These are white, pure white handles. These are the Artist Opus brushes. This is the #1. I use this brush for just about everything, doing eyeballs and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't even use I think I have a 000 and the 00. I don't even use those. These ones come to a really great point as is, and I use this one brush all the time. All right, canopy time. Yeah. So all I do is I just take a fairly generous amount and then just tap into the corners of the windshield, and that's it. That's all I'm doing. Pretty easy. And with the contrast, because it's such a nice rich pigment, and because of the way it flows, it makes this kind of thing very, very easy. If you're just going for like just tabletop, like bang, done, right? That's all you got to do. All you got to do is just touch the corners and you're done. Now the one trick of it all is you got to make sure you have a brush that can come to a nice good point like that, so that you can, you know, do that kind of work, right? I'll close that up here. Ghost Diamond Deluxe. I'm not too familiar with Russian planes, so I can't speak to your accuracy on that one. Looks good though. Well, the Hind doesn't. It is kind of a plane, but it's not really classified as a plane because it's got a big prop on top of it. The Russian Hind, Hind. Just look that up. Or Soviet, not Russian. It's Russian. You know. Anyway, look up Soviet Hind, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And they'll have like this kind of greeny brown color schemes. They usually have this brown kind of color, and they'll be kind of dappled. You'll see darker spots on it, but the undersides often will have this very, very sky blue. Almost, it's often referred to like a robin egg blue, as far as like what the color is often referred to, just so that everybody kind of knows, you know, what everybody's talking about. But yeah, I was thinking about doing it like that, and I have a Valkyrie, and I was thinking about painting it like that, just like doing something, you know, really fun and, you know, little project like that. But anyway, do the blasters. And again, all I'm using is Black Templar, applying a fairly generous amount onto the brush, and then just giving the model a nice even layering of it. And that will pretty much be it. Now, did I paint the entirety of the gun? I did too. Okay. Went all the way back into the housing, so I'm going to angle this up a bit. Yeah, it went all the way into this space right here, into the weapon mount. I actually really enjoy the contrasts in this capacity for just quickly getting little things kind of done. I had done a video a while back on the 15 mil stuff, like the hell's that game called now? trying to think of it while I'm doing this. Not Bolt Action. Flames of War. And the Soviet one. Team Yankee. Had a complete brain fart there. Yeah. And I'd shown it on those videos, just quickly using contrast paint just to quickly mess up the paint job. I hit an area I didn't want to hit. Oops. Oh well. This gets covered up with silver. I hit this area with the yellow over here. Boo earns. It's okay though. Adds to the character. That's the excuse I used to tell myself all the time when I made boo-boos on paint jobs. It adds character. It makes it distinct. It makes it so it's obviously it's mine. That's just, you know, making excuses. Just catching these nozzles here. And I actually treat this pretty much like a base coat onto these details. Just because, you know, it fills in the little nooks and crannies nicely, and yeah. Alright, that's one. Old man Logan, there he is. Chris, glad to see you. How are you doing today? I am doing well. I am doing well. I am doing well. How are you? Ghost Star Alex, since I don't have quite as much time today, I decided to do some modeling rather than painting today. Scratch building a little grot bomber. Cool. Send pics, man. Send pics. Send those picky chores. I wonder, can I shake the paint while this is on the holder? Yes, I can. Here, your ASMR. I was like, what the hell's he doing? What the hell's he on? On weed. Next plane, same thing. Grab a fairly generous amount into the brush, and then just tap it into the corners of the detail. Bang, 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 bang. You're done. Pretty simple, eh? Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, 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 bang. Okay. There we go. You guys even see what I'm doing? Am I even on camera? Am I live? Am I even on? You can see there's like a bit of yellow on this area here. I'm not too worried about it because again, the process I go through, it will cover that over anyway. Like I said, I'm treating this more like it's a base coat and a bit of a shade wash at the same time, which is really the strength of contrast. But I am going to put another layer of paint on top of this, so I'm not too concerned about, you know, what colors are showing through and underneath. And because I'm going for a tabletop, I'm not really that concerned with, you know, not being that neat. Trying to be neat, but not that neat. Just get the underside of the gun. The gun. Might as well do the other side while I'm at it. While I'm in the neighborhood. Just like that. And I just come over here. And my camera, yep. There we go. And there we go. go. Getting her done. Guns, intake. What was the other thing? Oh, the nozzles. I just painted those, for God's sakes. The fun part about, you know, using colors like this is you can just, as long as you're fast, you can and you lay a little too much down, you can always draw it out, move it around. And if you're fast, you can even actually clean up boo-boos and stuff if you hit other areas of the model you didn't want to hit. Or you can just leave them. It's up to you. Again, your models, you paint them up however the hell you want to do them. That's it. That's it for that fighter. Okay. Old Man Logan, doing well, thanks. I'm really enjoying these Aeronautica models that you are painting. I had no interest in them when they came out, but they look like a lot of fun. I may just have to pick up a box. Maybe, possibly. Well, the starter box, like if you want to just pick up the starter box, the Skies of Fire box, it's only a couple bucks, and it gives you 2 complete squads, or whatever. And, you know, the rules, gives you dice, gives you everything you need to get started. Gives you a little play area. Yeah, I've seen it in the past, but I wasn't terribly interested in the Orcs and Imperial stuff. But I used to be a Tau player, and so their Tau will always have a little place in my tiny blackened heart. There's a little shelf in there for Tau stuff, and I do. And I honestly, again, this is something you guys can mention down below or what have you, but. You know, ideas for Tau color scheme. I was thinking of going with a classic Tau color scheme. I used to do my Tau, but the color I don't think exists anymore. Basically, it was a blue-purple. God, I can't remember what the hell the name was. What was the name? Oh, sorry. I'm going to the compatibility chart. The paint range compatibility. If you're not familiar with it, it's on DACA. What the hell was the color? Which column is the old range? Old Citadel, right? Old Citadel. It's not really a complete list because old Citadel has changed the colors, and some of the hues have changed over the years as well. Nauseating blue. Or was it Midnight Blue? No, I think it was Nauseating Blue. Yeah, I think that was the color I used to use. Because it was a blue-purple. And I used to use that with my Tau. And I used to really enjoy that. And basically, the color scheme was Nauseating Blue. I'm pretty sure that it was Nauseating Blue. With black and silver. And the black was highlighted with just a little bit of gray. The silver was a fairly bright silver. And the Nauseating Blue was mostly that, with just a little bit of white added to that color, and just the edge, just a slight edging. And yeah, that's what I used to do my Tau. But yeah, but who knows where we'll go today, or well, next time, next week. You know what I mean. All right, are my fighters almost done? Damn, I think the fighter's almost done. I just got to do the missiles, and they're done. Okay. What time are we at? We're an hour in. Heck, I might just end the show early. So yeah, leave a comment down below. What do you think would be a good Tau color scheme? Again, Citadel doesn't really make that color anymore. I mean, I could mix the color, but I think what it was way back in the day, they were using it was a phthalo blue with a blue shade, or red. It's a phthalo blue with a red shade. That's what I think what the color originally was, which is a very common color amongst all paint companies. And it was yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a phthalo blue. Now I don't know if this will show up on camera here, but I have Golden's phthalo blue. Oh, I need my paint shaker, man. This is, there we go. Got some, you can hear a little agitator. Some ASMR for y'all. There we go. Anyway. So, phthalo blue with red shade. And you can see it's a fairly dark blue. It's got a slight purple cast to it. But what was fun about it is, yeah, you can see it just how the light is catching it. See right in that little crevice right there? I swear that's paint on my fingernail, not schmutz or anything like that. Not anyway, you see how there's a slight purpley cast to it? That's because that red, right? And so when your eye sees that that light coming back to you, you're taking that blue and you're taking that red, because it's a red shade, right? And you're taking that and your eye mixes it and sees it as a bit of a purple. And I'm pretty sure that was the color I used to do my Tau. Was this black and silver. I actually brought that to a golden demon, Games Day Canada, and it made first pick. I didn't really spend that much time on the model, so I was really surprised that it even went as far as it did. I think because it was a nice clean, you know, but I really didn't have that much highlighting. There wasn't, you know, a lot of, I had the decals on it and everything, the white symbols. But anyway, yeah, so I was thinking that, or I was even thinking maybe some Turbo Dork, because I was actually, who was it? Oh, it was Eldari, Last Way of the Brush, and Eldari had posted his Farseer or Spirit Seer. Yeah, this model. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this model. I haven't even painted mine yet. This is still great plastic. Anyway, he had painted the canopy in the helmet, and he used blue raspberry, which is a color shifting, which is a blue purple. And I was thinking, ooh, that'd be kind of fun on a Tau flyer in my old color scheme. So wherever I wanted that blue purple to remain, that would be, and then I'll pick it out in silver and black accents. That's what I was thinking for the Tau. I might do that. I might. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Shaking the paint while it's on the holder seems like a bad idea. Might go flying off. No, actually, you know what? Honestly, this I don't know if you've ever seen these, but these are from Citadel, right? It's a paint pot holder. So these are, I did a review on these back when these came out. Everybody was shitting on them, but I think they're actually a really good idea. I mean, they're rubber. See how, right? And they grab every paint pot, right? It's contrast, you know, the big shade pots, you know, or well, shade wash pots, you know, the little Citadel pots, right? Grabs them all. So, bang, and contrast. That's the 3 sizes right now, right? There's actually a smaller bottle. Does anybody remember the Artificer paint set? Yeah, there's even a smaller bottle. It's smaller than the regular Citadel bottles. And these ones here, they're just straight up color inside them. They were selling it so that you could add this to a particular pot of paint and make your own mixture. But yeah, they don't even have labels on them because they're so damn small. They just say paint. Citadel paint all the way across. Anyway, yeah, so I mean, shaking these up, I mean, if you're shaking them up on the thing here, you can just grab it, right? Keep your fingers over the thing and just, you know, give it a good old shake. Of course, the way I was doing it just a moment ago, I mean, with the contrast, right? It's fine. It holds on to it. I mean, you know, I shake it upside down. Right? You know. And as long as you're not too ridiculous with it, I mean, it's going to hold. But I mean, like, it holds. It's solid. Yeah. It's in there. Especially if you push it all the way to the flush to the bottom. Yeah, it's in there. I mean, yeah, so it's rubber. It grabs. Anyway. I don't sell the damn things, so it's not like this is a damn commercial for it. Yeah, these Artificer paints, Ghost Starman, yeah. They're just pure pigment. They weren't intended as a paint. They were intended to mix into your larger jars of paint to change the value so that you could complete your army a bit better. But I think that line of thinking led them to the contrast system, because there was only like, I think, 8 of these colors, which is basically just the core primaries and black and white. I don't think there was metallic in it. And yeah, these were just intended to add. And this is actually when they came out with the Citadel spatula, right? The little texture brush. And you were just supposed to like take a little dollop onto the end of the spatula, and then just mix it into the paint, and it would change the value of the paint. And it'd only take a little bit to change the value drastically, which is true. We tried it on one jar, and it changed the value of the paint dramatically. So these are just pure pigment. That's all they are. Just pure pigment. And they fit within the holder, even though I don't know how many people still have these paint sets. Just totally low profile. Like there's a regular pot of paint right next to the artificial paint. But they're in there. Just shake it up. Anyway. What was I doing? I guess we should just finish off the flyers, right? Or the oh no, I gotta do the next thing. Right, medals. American Eddie. What do you think of yellow orcs or yellow Eldar? I think yellow orcs look awesome. Bad Moons, come on, Bad Moons, man. Bad Moons is like the best clan. And as far as yellow Eldar, Ayanden, it's not really Minecraft world, but it's a very striking color scheme. So, you know, you have like yellow bodies with the blue helmets. That looks really awesome. And Bad Moon's orcs, well, it gives you an excuse to use like the best gear for orcs, right? So why not? You know. And Ayanden Eldar, which is the yellow blue, gives you an excuse to use lots of Wraith units. So why not, right? Yeah. But both are good. I mean, a lot of fun. I mean, if you're really into your painting, and you're not hugely concerned about how it's going to play, and because you're going to enjoy looking at your models and painting your models and, you know, enjoying them on display in your shelf or whatever, yeah, I mean, pick whatever models you like, paint them however you like. You know, if you never play and you have no interest in playing, just buy models that look cool to you. You know, like if you like the way an particular orc model looks, pick it up. You know, if you like a particular Eldar model, pick it up. If you're just gonna paint them anyway, and your idea and like your end goal is just to have pretty models on a shelf, just get whatever appeals to you. You know. But if your goal is to game, then, you know, these days, I mean, so many of the factions are all pretty comparable to each other that there's not, you know, one army right now. Well, right now, I suppose one army is really, you know, elite and heavy and, you know what I mean, and winning. But that changes really fast. The meta amongst armies and everything like that changes. And especially with the latest edition of Warhammer coming out, you know, things are going to get shook up again. Just from the core rule system, you know? So, it's good. It's good. Keeps it fresh. Go Starman Deluxe. All right. Just don't say I didn't warn you. Yeah, I mean, like, it holds really well. I mean, I don't have stock in these things, so, I mean, you know, big whoop. But it's just a big piece of rubber. And same if you've ever seen the Citadel paint cup. It's like the same thing, you know? Alrighty, we're grabbing some lead belture, and we are going to slap a little bit onto the palette, and we'll do on, that's good English, do some metal. We're going to do the nozzles, the intake, and then we're going to do the gun barrels on the multi-lasers. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. I don't even know. What am I doing? Who am I? Where am I going? Grab a little bit. Slappez-vous onto my palette. And yeah, we'll use this brush. So I'm just going to use my #1 brush again. And basically what I do is I draw it through the palette, turn it 180 degrees, draw it through the palette again, make a nice little chisel, just like so. So bang, bang, bang. So now it's a nice little chisel shape. See that? Grab a flyer, and then I will quickly do the barrels. And with that, I just simply go pa-chunk, 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 pa-chunk. A little bit too much paint there, but that's okay. I'm not too concerned about it. And basically this is kind of an overbrushing method. It's kind of like dry brushing where you're just catching just the high points, which is why I turn the brush into a chisel shape so that it draws flatter across. Flatter across, is that good English? I don't know. But anyway, there you go. Just like that. Gun barrels picked out. Yeah, maybe get a little bit more on this one. On the high point. There we go. Yeah, we got a little too much silver in here, but that's mostly okay. If I was really that concerned about it, I could always come in and just, you know, hit that with some Black Templar and pick that part back out. But I'm not. I'm not that concerned about it. Again, I'm painting these more for tabletop than I am for any kind of, you know, pictures or looking pretty. Although they will be in pictures. Again, I'm just quickly catching the tops here, the intakes. I'm going to catch that center column in the intake here. And that's it. Oh, I got to do the outside here. Do the outer ring, the intake. So I just want to do just a little bit of this. Draw that around. Just a little bit of this side. Draw it around. And be done with it. And that's it. That's the metal areas. It's not a lot of paint. It's really just to kind of pick it out, bring it out, so the light catches it, you know. Then we'll do the nozzles. Same thing. Just draw it through the paint. Turn 180 degrees. Make a nice flat chisel. Right. And you can see, bang, bang. Right. And then I just catch the nozzles here, just like that. And you can see I'm drawing the brush like right across the surface, kind of like an edging technique, but this is more like dry brushing, as I'm just catching just the high points of that surface. So I'm leaving that black in those recesses, providing me all that nice little shadow and such. And that is the goal. That's it, right like that. That's a fast way of getting those done. Ghost of Starman. Gonna have to go pick up my food now, Chris. See you tomorrow. Away the brush. Yeah, see you tomorrow, Ghostman. Ghostman. I'm just gonna call you Ghostman. Kevin Cabal, there he is. Those are some awesome looking minis. I might have to look into get in box set. Yeah, they're fun. They're pretty darn big too. I mean, well, it's kind of hard to tell from my hands because you don't know how big my hands are. But let's grab, I don't know, let's grab a Harlequin. Does that make any sense? Get a Harlequin, give you an idea how big the model is. Like, they're pretty big. Like the Epic flyers from like back in the day, the Epic, they weren't this big. These are twice the size of those. Oh, here's another one. Stormcast, the Stormcast Eternal. There we go. Give you an idea how big these models are. Like, they're good size. You know. The fun part about this game too is you don't have to worry about the bases. You can, but you don't have to, because they already come pre-assembled, because they you know, because you have to turn the little dial here, right? And then this side as well. You gotta turn the little dial. But you know, the game is just meant to be played like this, because obviously the base has these indicators, so you're not gonna like texture up the base with anything. You could, but you know, it's not necessary. Just grabbing some paint here, some lead belcher. There we go. I'm not too worried about the underside like catching the metallic on the other side of it. I'm not too worried about that. By the sounds of it, I'm not too worried about a lot, am I? Not really concerned with a whole lot. Just gonna paint it. Screw it. Just catching the face of the intake here. Show the interior there. Just get that front. That's it. That's all. I mean, I could go for the fan blades inside. I didn't do it in the video that I showed this in. All I would do is just very gently run the tip of the brush over the intakes, and just, you see they're just barely touched, and that's it. Again, this technique is more like overbrushing than it is, you know, doing like a layer or anything like that. But it is. I mean, it's all obviously paint layers, and you know, it's various combinations of techniques. And again, it's, you know, as you develop as a painter, you know, you decide what particular techniques you use at what particular moment, right? And that just comes with experience, you know, because I could tell you to do this or that, but ultimately you're going to do whatever the hell you want and paint your models however you want, whatever works for you at whatever particular point, and that's the way it should be. Again, all I'm doing is just a bit of an overbrushing method here, just to catch these high points on the nozzles. That is it. I'm not too concerned if I lay too much paint down, because again, it's not a big concern, right? Especially with the scale of the model as well, you know. But that is it for them. Oh no, I gotta do the missiles. But I do the missiles on that one. I used flesh tears, I thought. Kevin Cabal, lots of nice detail on them. Bigger than I thought. But flesh tears, flesh tears, flesh tears, flesh tears. So yeah, that's what I used for the missiles last time. I just went with a nice deep red. See on the missiles there. I just do the nose cone. That's it. Again, not terribly complex. I just simply hit it one time and done. And I don't give it a second thought. Again, not that concerned with, you know, a lot of color depth. I'm just more concerned with trying to stay neat. That's really the big concern. It's just staying neat. Make sure this is thoroughly shook. And we'll do the missiles, and this squadron will be done. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, George isn't at home. That song's always ruined from Seinfeld. Anyway, I just take a fairly generous amount on my brush and just hit the nose cone. I come at it multiple angles, but otherwise that is pretty much it. I go with this nice deep red just because I didn't really want to go with, you know, kind of a cartoonier kind of red. So I just go with this deeper, darker red. Dark and deep like. Look at that. Is that it? It to me. A little bit there. Another fast way, probably just to use a larger brush and just kind of come straight in, straight out at that point. But that's it. Just little red tips on the missiles, and that's done. Make sure there's no wheel nuts on my brush. Again, like I said, my only concern really is just staying neat. Because even if there's not a lot of color depth, if the model is, you know, messy, then immediately kind of takes the viewing experience. But these aren't really meant to be viewed. At least I'm not painting them to be in that regard, you know. I'm having a hard time seeing that. There we go. There we go. There we go. And there we go. That side. That side. That side. Yeah, there we go. And there. Those missiles are done. That's it. That's all. That squadron is done for the moment until I throw transfers on it, do the windscreens or the canopies, do some soot, you know what I mean, like weather them. I think when I do the transfers, I can show just slapping the transfers on, as well as you know, weathering the transfers. I can do that as well. But let me know down below if you guys think you know, those are kind of things you want to see with some Aeronautica. Yeah, these are fun little flyers. Anywho, let's go back to the other guy. Oh, excuse me. So this is all thoroughly dry now. We have this fun little camo powder. So now we're going to give it a dry brush. What are we going to dry brush it? We're going to dry brush it some Tyrant Skull for Tyrants. And I'm going to use my medium dry brush, this son of a gun right here, that we've cleaned and made sure that we're not going to get any color transference. Because what color was I using on there? Oh, yellow. I was using yellow on that before, so we don't want any yellow transferring to this guy, right? So that's why we wash our brush with soap. Soap. What time we at here? Holy crumoly, there's only 30 minutes left of the show. Grab a little bit of Tyrant Skull. You see, I just grab, like, I just dunk my brush right in. And you see how it's kind of squishy in there? See? That's it. Just grab a little bit of paint. If I do a little too much on there, then I just wipe the excess on the sides. You can see, bang. And find a spot on my rag to wipe this off so I can see what I'm doing. Make sure that a lot of the paint has been removed. Like that. Then we begin the dry brushing. Of course, when we're dry brushing, we're keeping a very light hand. If you feel the model kicking around in your hand a little too much, you're dry brushing a little too hard. Advice I give all the time when dry brushing, because a lot of people tend to dry brush a little too heavy. That's not good. See? It just catches them edges. It actually has the effect of brightening up the side, right? But that's the goal. And these days, when I am dry brushing models, I tend not to dry brush too many layers. I don't like to have too many layers because that's when you end up with a really chalky finish. But I find that with 1 or 2 layers, the dry brushing looks pretty darn good. And with these guys here, I'm just doing 1 layer of dry brushing. So we only want it 1 layer good. Some of these areas where you try and got the little panels and coming across, semicircular motions I find are the best way to you know, catch all the panels and such. Just a semicircular motion. You can go one way or the other way, but semicircular I find just, you know, kind of gets everything. Just like that. See, yeah. Fun, right? Gets those little edges, brings definition to it. A lot of fun. So, do the tail next. Don't worry if this looks like it's getting too light. For anybody who didn't watch the Patreon video, there's another trick coming. It's not really a trick, but the big key factor in good dry brushing, especially on minis, is keeping a very light hand and making sure a lot of the paint has been removed from the bristles. That's a big one. Do semicircular on the back here, just to catch them edges, just like that. Yeah. The panels and the wings. Okay. Oh, we gotta do the cockpit. The cockpit. Why is it called a cockpit? What is the cock part referring to? Like a rooster? It's a rooster pit? I've often wondered that one. What is a cockpit referring to as when they say a cock? I don't know. I'm being serious here, kids. I'm not trying to make a joke. I'm being serious. What is the cock referring to? Like, what iteration of cock are we talking about? I'm just doing a simple side to side here on this side. It's back here. A little more paint. A little bit more paint. Little bit. Bit. Old Man Logan, I like the camo. Thank you. It's fun. It's easy. And for you Patreon members, you've already seen this, I think, unless you haven't watched it yet. But yeah, I show exactly all this, what I've just been doing. That's pretty much it. Just want to get a little bit more here in the front here. Yeah. And that's it. Now, obviously it brightens up the model a bit more than previously. Which is, you know, it's not bad. But it's a little bit bright. The highlights and such are a little bit intense. So we're going to knock it all down. How do we do that, Chris? Well, after I wash my brush, I'll tell you. You know what? I'll go one better. I'll show you. I'm just going to wash my brush. Go. Nice and clean, ready for next time. Yes, I do go through a lot of brush soap, but I've got that little tub there. I've also got a big old tub back over there. It's for my oil paints. Okay, so we're going to lighten this whole thing up, right? Because we want it a bit deeper. And also want some more distinction in the panel lines and such, because we kind of lose some of that during the dry brushing process. So we want to bring some of that back, add a bit more depth. So for that, we're going to use an old friend with some medium. An old friend of Agrax Earthshade. Still one of my favorite colors to play with. And we're going to use some Lamian medium. Lamian. It's for Lamians. Grabez-vous the palette. Yeah, I guess we'll just use. Yeah, we'll use this side over here. We're going to slap somewhat generous amount into our palette and quite a bit of medium to thin the color out. So that, and all I'm doing is I'm just dunking into the paint pot. Yeah, grab 3 healthy dollops of medium or Agrax. I'm going to throw in about 5 drops. So you can see here that's about right there is about 3 loads, brush loads. So I'm going to add about 6 drops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's see there. Alright. It's pretty dilute. It's quite a bit, but we're going to end up using it all on this flyer because we are going to lay quite a bit of this down. Oh yeah, it's nice and thin now. That's nice and thin. That's nice. So, we just simply grab a nice generous amount into our brush and then begin slapping it onto the model. Just like so. And I want this to sit fairly heavily on the model surface, just to change the overall value. But what I'm really looking for is for it going into the panel lines and such again, reestablishing those, and also building up some of that base tone again of the Argyros Dune, giving us that nice deep dark brown color. But I want to just simply tint, or well, not tint, but change the value of the overall tone on the model. So I'm just going over the engine casing here. And again, you'll see I'm drawing back from the palette quite a bit each time as I, load the brush and then hit the surface here. And if you grab too much, you just simply draw it off and move it to another area. As long as you're fairly quick about it, you should have no problems. Just like so. And I'm doing the entirety of the model as well. Just move it there. And you can see it does bring back a lot of the color depth, but that is what I'm looking for. That is the goal of this shade wash. But because it's thinned out, it's not going to change the value of the overall paint job too heavily, which is also something else we want to avoid. But we are hitting pretty much the entirety of the model. That is our goal. And like I said, Agrax's shade is a good old friend. Come in, hit the underside of the wing, hit the pods. Still got lots here to play with. Lots. So I'm gonna make sure I hit most of these landing gears and such. Last time I did this model, I missed some of these little details and such. Hit the pods, landing gear. Hopefully I'm sort of in camera. I just realized I'm just right into what I'm doing here and completely ignoring if I'm in a frame or not. All right, there we go. Let that dry for a little bit. Okay, so the lightnings are a complete squad. So now they're done. Done. Dun dun. We did these guys. Right. And of course, every time I pick them up, I make the little sounds. Not sure what sound a Valkyrie makes, but who knows. So we're going to wait for that to dry, or we can grab the hairdryer and speed the whole process right up. So you can listen to me use a hairdryer for a bit. I have it on the low setting. I don't have it on very high because too high might move, you know, paint around, and because the shade wash was really quite thin, it can flow pretty easily. So I don't really want to upset that. I have it where I want it. Still see some points under there. It's still kind of shiny. I am trying to think of what the heck is next. I guess we'll bust out the Black Templar again. Yeah, we'll bust out the Black Templar. "18 minutes left of the show." Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to getting to the Tau side of things. I haven't even assembled them yet, so no idea how they should be assembled. Like, I mean, like I know how they're assembled, but I mean, like, what weapon configurations? So I probably will do them a slight mix of configurations. I quickly went through the rules and everything like that, and I definitely want to have the gun drones on them. That's good enough for now. There's one little spot that's kind of heavy, but that'll dry, and we're not going to touch that area actually for a bit, so that'll be fine. But now with the finish, you can see they have a very similar look now. And like I say, you know, if you're consistent in what you do and how you apply paint, you'll get consistent results. You can replicate it through your models. Unless, of course, you change the paints and the way you did them, you know, then yeah, like I did with the flyers here. I mean, like, you can see they're not exactly the same, but they're pretty close. But mind you, two different techniques. I mean, this one here was hand painted, whereas this one here was a lot of airbrush. So, you know. But, again, if you're mostly consistent, you'll get consistent results. Oh, excuse me. All right, Black Templar. We're gonna pick out the guns, the intakes, the engines. Oh, I guess one thing I could show too is also squadron markings, because I know like the back tail section here, you can paint like a squadron marking or you know something like that. And for the little missile pods, I'll probably paint those red, but I'll probably use an opaque color for that. More likely. Yeah. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. It's canopy, intake. And I did like, I think that's why I was thinking that these things reminded me of a Hind, is because like I remember like a lot of the Hinds, the engine here would be, the casing would have coloring, but the intake would be like a metallic, and so that's what I did there. Is I just painted just the insides of the engines and then just the back nozzles, because I think on the box art the entirety of the engine is metal, and I didn't really like that look. I like this more, you know, unified kind of appearance to the intakes and the engines, and having the engines be colored. I just like that look better. I guess I could have picked up these pipes here on the side though. Maybe later. Maybe later. For now though, we're just gonna start moving on to other stuff. And that phone was going nuts. What's going on? Oop. Oh, it's not important. It's nothing. Nothing. Nada. Alrighties. The Black Templar. I'll put it in our handy little holder here. I'm trying to use this thing more often. Just because, you know, again, like I said, I'd hate to knock my paint over, you know, while doing this stream, because then everybody's like, ah, Chris knocked his paint over. What a nerd. Alright. These ones here are a little bit tricky, but as long as you take a pretty generous amount of color into your brush, you pretty much just have to touch the area, and it'll creep into all little nooks and crannies. Just like so. I'm just building up a little more color towards the high point. Yep. Like that. Pretty easy, eh? Pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. There we go. Let's get that multi-laser on the side. Light laser or las cannon? It's a las cannon. No, it's a multi-laser. Like I know. Like I know what it is. No, I used to play Imperial Guard. Oh, I think I hit the body. Oh well. Not too worried about it. We gotta get that little techno doodad on the side. Little doodad. Because I did it for the other one, maybe we'll do this doodad as well. We'll catch just the antenna. Yeah. Just the antenna. And maybe this little doodad right there. Lots of doodads to paint. All sorts of doodads. Alright. Do those intakes. Actually, let's close this, give this a shake. I usually don't like leaving the paint open too long. I often recommend not doing that too often. Take the color, put it onto the palette, you know, that way you can control. But when you're painting small little areas really quickly, you know, it's forgivable to, you know, just sit there with the paint open, especially if you're just doing things really kind of quickly. All right, this goes by pretty darn fast because just moving the brush through the interior. But again, I mean, like, look at that, bang, did that interior, right? Grab another little brush as long as you're pretty careful. I mean, if you can tackle the interior, canopy, you can hit any of these little areas and just fill them with color. Right? Bang. Now the engines. I'm going to grab a fairly generous amount. Start right up here. Just draw it right across. Again, I'm not too worried about any of the undercolor, like the browns showing through, because I am going to apply more paint on top of this. So I'm not too worried about, you know, odd colors showing through the paint job. Alright, we're going to do the end nozzles here on the wings. So, fast, very carefully, just run at the perimeter of that detail, and then just tap the inside and get a nice little amount inside there, just like that. Oh, I hit the foot landing pad. Oh well, who cares? Is that it for black? Yeah. So let that dry, and then we'll come at it with some metals. And then we just pick up the pods. And what time we at? We got 8 minutes left of the show. We can do it. 8 minutes. We can do it. We can do it. Grab the hair dryer. Speed this process up a little. It's my hair drying technique. You just keep it moving. I asked the wife if I could borrow her hair dryer. She said, "Here, just take this one. This is hers from, you know, for many years." But she went and bought a new one. So I get the wife's hand-me-downs for some stuff. Just trying to make sure these engine nozzles are dry before I move to the next phase, because otherwise the wet black contrast will mix with the metal. Not that that's a huge issue, but, you know. Still kind of annoying. I think that's dry. Looks pretty dry to me. So, next phase is silver. Where's my lead belcher? Oh, there it is. I almost lost my shit over that. So, we'll grab some lead belcher. Slappy-voo a little bit onto the pellet. And just like before, make a little chisel out of it. And let's do the las gun first, or the multi-laser. nozzles. Just do the ends, just like so, just like that. Do the other side, just like so. There we go. The engine nozzles, just like before. Do a bit of an overbrush method and just hit the entirety of the nozzle. Paint. There. Engine nozzles picked out. So now just the intakes, and that'll be done. Color. And with the intakes, again, just like I did on the other planes, I just simply come in, and I'm going to do a counterclockwise motion because that's the direction of the blades. So I'm just going to go counterclockwise and just catch just those high points of the intakes, just like that. And that's all it takes. And now those intakes are all nice and painted. Boom, done. Now it's just the missiles. What time we got here? 2 minutes. I got 2 minutes left to paint the intakes, or the missiles. So for that, I'm going to grab a little bit of Evil Sun Scarlet. Where is it? Evil Sun Scarlet. Slap a little bit on my palette, and I'm just basically going to dot the missile heads. Warheads, missile heads, whatever it's called, that's what we're painting. Just grab a little bit of Evil Sun Scarlet. Bang. I'm going to try and be a little bit careful here because I do not want to, hit other areas and, mess this up. So we're gonna concentrate here. We're going to go into steady hand mode, and we're going to catch each of those little warheads. If I was really clever, we'd probably just do it like an overbrush method. If I was really clever, but I'm not. Because we can pretty much just do it like this. Just steady myself here. And just catch the tops. Just like that. See how the little heads are painted now? Hold on, we gotta get this upper corner here. There we go. Alright, let's grab a little bit more. And as we move the brush around, catching just those high points. There, little warheads are painted. Let's go on the other side. If we really wanted to highlight these and stuff like that, we could. It's not necessary. Again, with the scale of these models. And there we go. And that's the warheads all painted up. Look at that. As easy as that. And it's 12. It's 2 o'clock my time. Which means we're done for the day. We're done for the day. And the flyers are done. This squadron is ready to go. There's more work to be done, but I will show that in future videos. But that is it for this episode of Getting Projects Done. Next week, next week we'll be working on the Tau flyers, and then with that I can start filming some games with them, which will be fun. we'll have some fun with some Aeronautica. We'll make lots of airplane sounds and fly around. You don't really see these Valkyries painted in different colors, do you? But anywho, let me know down below what you guys would like to see as far as, you know, other things like applying the transfers, painting the canopies to look more, you know, realistic, I suppose, you know, whatever. Soot. We could probably do battle damage. I don't know. I don't know if I really want to mess up their surfaces. I mean, we could just paint like little, you know, bullet marks and stuff like that. We could do that. I don't know. Let me know down below what you guys would like to see. Because we'll probably cover those in future videos and do other stuff and what have yous. But that is it. That we got the Imperial Navy done today. One day, got them done. I filmed other parts of them, the other ones, but that squadron's ready to go. Next is the Tau. So leave it down below. I will see you guys next time in another exciting installment of getting projects. My hair's a mess. My hair's like all over the place here. I'm sweating because it's warm in my basement. It's warm. It's warm outside right now. Oof. Oof. Anywho. Laters. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun dun.